Hey folks, I'm here to talk to you about child support enforcement and the corruption involved and how much pain they can cause you. Sometimes it's like you've been tied to a whipping post.
Could you state your name for those who might be watching this video?
My name is Michael Jordan.
Where do you live?
Well, I live in the southeast Missouri area. I don't want to say exactly where because I do have a outstanding warrant for my arrest due to non-payment of child support.
What kind of trouble can you get in exactly for non-payment of child support?
Well, you can get into a lot of trouble. I'll try to give you some examples. You can have your fishing or hunting license revoked. You can have your driver's license suspended, which happened to me. You can have a passport revoked. You can take and get up to 4 years in prison is the maximum sentence that you can get. Now in my case, I was laid off 2 weeks after my wife went and applied for welfare. Missouri child support enforcement didn't seem to care about that, didn't seem to matter. I moved to Poplar Bluff, did get a job. They were taking half of my pay and giving it to the children. But that didn't seem to make them happy, I guess because I was flapping my wings and writing various organizations like the U.S. Supreme Court and the U.S. District Attorney in St. Louis and the Prosecuting Attorney in St. Louis County, which this all originated. I guess because of writing all those letters, I guess they felt they had to teach me a lesson, so they suspended my license. And I might mention that this was done while I was appealing my case to the court. And I was very surprised that they could suspend my license while I was actually trying to follow due process, which is guaranteed to me by the Constitution. And even they said that I had every right to file an appeal, which I did.
Now, them suspending your license, did that interrupt your work or your job at all?
Sure it did. I was delivering pizzas, and basically you can't deliver pizzas if you don't, if you have a suspended driver's license. So that stopped my income completely. It stopped my children from getting half of what they were getting. And basically it just started me on a downward spiral to where now I have absolutely nothing. I have no money. I have no money coming in. I have no money in savings. I'm living on the charity of others, and basically they've got me down to where I can't even buy stamps to send letters to the Supreme Court.
So you can't get a job?
I can't get a job. I can't look for a job. I can't really do much of anything. I don't have a vehicle, don't have a license, don't have money. Again, I don't even have the money to buy stamps to send letters like I was doing before. I think that's exactly what they wanted to happen.
Well, it's obvious that this video is about child support. Could you mention some key points that you're going to be discussing in this video?
Well, yes, I'm going to be talking about corruption because really that's what this video really is about. There's this myth that the Missouri child support enforcement, and not only Missouri but all the states, they want you to believe that they're out here and they want to help the children. That's what they want you to believe. But just like an attorney in St. Louis told me, he said, Mike, it's not about helping the children, it's about punishment. And I believe that he's correct. I'm going to be talking about corruption in this sense. You have to follow the money. Once you understand that the state is subsidized by the federal government, then you understand that it is a money-making proposition for them to get every man that they can, any way that they can, into the system. And by that I mean this. If you pay child support, great, they make money. If you don't pay child support, that's even better because they make even more money then. And they will lie, cheat, steal. They will suppress evidence. They will manufacture evidence. And I can prove this. Now, what makes me different from the other 100,000 men out there who have stories that are worse than mine is this. I have the proof. I have the evidence. I can show that my constitutional rights were violated 5 different times. And I will show you that. Everything that I say in this video, I'll back it up with statistics, and I'll back it up with actual documentation.
Are there other topics that you're going to cover besides corruption?
Yes, I am going to talk about discrimination, how the state of Missouri and every other state in the Union basically discriminates against men. They are biased toward men. The media doesn't want you to know that, but it's as plain as the nose on my face that you can't have a situation to where the media and the courts spend 25 years basically telling you that men are bad. They do things to men that they would never dream of doing to women. And I will highlight that, and I will point those things out to you and give you examples. And the problem, people, is the fact that you don't stand a chance. You're going up against the full weight and power of the state of Missouri or whatever state you live in. You didn't stand a chance from the get-go. It's like putting a 6-year-old boy in the ring with Mike Tyson. And yet they tell you, oh, that's fair. We're going to be fair with you. But you're 6 years old and you're in the ring with Mike Tyson. Is that fair? I don't think that's fair. But anyway, I will discuss solutions, and then I will discuss other solutions and try to wrap this whole thing together.
Fellas, you ever been going through some hard times with your woman, you lose your job or something, and your woman tries to console you and say, hey, baby, don't worry, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. I know we got some bills, but if we got to get rid of some of this shit, we will get rid of some of this shit. She's talking about you. Can't do it. Fellas, if you lose your job, you're going to lose your woman. That's right. She may not leave the day you lose it, but the countdown has begun.
Let's talk about discrimination and prejudice against men by child support enforcement.
Okay.
Can you give some examples?
Yes, I can. I think one of the very best examples is the case out in New Mexico, because it actually shows how far that judges and caseworkers will go in an effort to suppress evidence and basically do what they have to do to win against men. Now, I'm going to have to go out of character so that I can do a little bit of reading to you, reading from this site. And that site, you can go to it with me, and it is ejfi.org. And you can scroll down to where it says, mother of child that never existed gets 18 months in prison from federal court by Richard Farr. October 5th, 2006, a U.S. federal judge handed down an 18-month sentence to Viola Trevino, the woman who received $20,000 from Steve Barras in child support for a child that never existed.
Paid $20,000 in child support for a baby who did not exist. Now he'll collect hundreds of thousands of dollars from the DNA testing business that helped pull off the scheme.
You'll recall Viola Trevino said she had a baby when she really didn't, to bilk her ex-husband out of child support. And today a judge decided she had help with a phony DNA test. Jeremy Hohola is live in the newsroom.
For years he paid out $700 every month for a baby that never existed, and now for the first time the man who was forced to pay out all of that child support money will be getting quite a bit of cash back. A big smile today for Steve Barras, the man forced to pay out $20,000 in child support for a fake baby. Today, a jury awarded him $1.2 million after he sued Mobile Blood Services. This is where it's believed Viola Trevino cooked up a false DNA test. Today, Barrera spoke for the first time on camera.
As for today, I'm feeling okay, still under stress, and as my wife is, she's very stressed also. But we're doing good, right? We'll be doing all right.
A few years ago, a judge forced Trevino to prove she had a kid. Instead, she lured another little girl into court. A judge didn't buy it. But before that, Trevino had everyone convinced she had a baby thanks to DNA collected at Mobile Blood Services. Investigators say former employee Pamela Flores was in cahoots with Trevino. Flores is accused of taking DNA from Barreras' real daughter, the two are friends, and passing it off as the fake baby's DNA, making a positive match. The owner of Mobile Blood Services spoke only to Eyewitness News 4 after the verdict and says his company has always been honest.
I felt very betrayed. A lifelong friend, Pamela Flores, did not step up to the plate to admit what she had done.
And as for Trevino, she remains in federal custody for lying about her phantom child on her tax forms. She still faces a state criminal trial for charges including fraud and kidnapping for bringing that other little girl to court that day.
The sad irony of the story is she was allowed to continue her reign of fraud through the incompetence of family court judge Deborah Davis Walker. There is no doubt that if Judge Walker had properly heard all the evidence, Viola Trevino would have been stopped years ago. But like most family law judges in America today, who regularly refuse to hear evidence and routinely ignore the rights of due process for its litigants, that usually means men. Such as in this case, the documentation that Steve Barrera was unable to conceive because of a vasectomy, and amazingly, Viola Trevino had undergone a tubal ligation in the 1970s. This crucial evidence was never allowed to be heard by Judge Walker, even though Steve had tried in earlier court hearings. Now, if you read this whole article, you'll find out that there was an investigative reporter who actually put pressure on the court so that this actually came about. But let me get back to this. It is a tragedy to think that if Viola had not committed federal income tax fraud, she would still be running the streets and committing crimes against Barrera as well as members of her own family. Viola had become immune to prosecution by the New Mexico civil system because her trial would have not only exposed her fraud, but would have ultimately brought a view into another level of corruption and culpability within the state of New Mexico. In other words, what he's saying here is New Mexico doesn't want you to find out what they did, neither does the state of Missouri or any other state. They don't want you to know all their dirty little secrets. Let's get back. But let's not single out New Mexico. What we have seen in this case is only the tip of the real beast that is now trying to strangle and destroy not just the American non-custodial parent, and 97% of the time that's men, but is undermining the very essence of American justice. If nothing else, the tale of Viola Trevino and the child that never existed is just another brick in the road to federal investigations.